Many people think that doing a PhD is all about being smart and studying a lot, but the real struggle is deeper. Here is what nobody tells you before you start a PhD. Number one, imposter syndrome hits hard. No matter how much you achieve, you constantly feel like you are not good enough. You also wonder if you actually smart or if you are just got lucky to get accepted. You also compare yourself with other PhD students. I had two PhD supervisors. One, she really hated me. I won't mention her name, just to call her supervisor A. And I had another supervisor who was so amazing. She was strict, but she was a human being. Honestly speaking, she knew the struggle I was going through. She was very supportive, but on the other hand, she was actually pushing me to be the best I could ever dream of. For imposter syndrome, how can you escape from it when you are a single mom? Sadly, my second marriage fell apart when I was doing my PhD, so I was going through second divorce in the middle of my PhD, which was very difficult to have 5 children. Oh my God, I don't want to break in tears. So it was very difficult to have 5 children, being a single mother, being a mom, being Black, Muslim, a refugee, and at the same time, wanting to get a PhD in a very difficult environment and a very difficult topic. I chose tuberculosis, which was very slow growing bacteria. I was also using an animal model, and the time is not actually enough to do all the research that you have in mind. And when you have a supervisor who doesn't actually doubts you and make you feel like you are less competent than anybody else, that also creates a lot of self-doubt. But I kept pushing, and although I was busy with my studies and I had family, children that I have to take care of myself, I even took many work. I was doing voluntary work. I even started my own business. During that time, I was running a charitable organization beside doing a voluntary work, as a board of trustees with other charities as well, and helping my community out, those people who needed me either to translate or fill forms or even call companies whether they are struggling to pay utility bills or that kind of stuff. So it was very difficult, but I overcame and I did it. Number two is the never-ending research and rewrites. When you just feel like your write-up is perfect, and then your supervisor comes and says to you, oh, this needs more work. That phrase becomes the most hated phrase ever. And I remember one specific experiment that I did, and my second supervisor, this amazing one, she used to ask me, please, well, as soon as you finish your research, that experiment, you need to write it up. And I used to do that. That was one of my strengths. So I wrote it, sent it to her, the research, the methodology, the analysis, and then she emails me. She asked me, oh, do this. And I changed 3 times. The 4th time was perfect. So she sent it before and after to everybody in our lab. And after that email, I realized that whatever she says, I have to listen to her. And that might seem very difficult to swallow, but it helped me a lot. Number three, no social life. Friends might ask you out. You have to say no because you have a research to do. Time for relationship. LOL. Who have time for that? And also you have to stick with your routines, wake up, do the research, do work for family, other your responsibility, and repeat the next day. Number four, supervisor mood swing. Some days they are supportive, other days they act like your research is a disaster. You are never sure if they think you are a brilliant or a complete failure. Number five is the what is next anxiety. People ask you, oh, so what will you do after your PhD? In academia, in industry, or you wanted to do your own thing? And you don't have the answers. You finish your PhD and realize you don't even have all the answers. And that creates an anxiety. I was very lucky. I met one of my former lecturers at the University of Leicester. That's where I did my PhD, my undergrad, and my first master's. I have many different degrees, I know. So I used to walk. I used to park my car near the neighborhood and then walk through the Victoria Park. And it is a very lovely, environment to walk in the morning and go to the university. And I used to meet my former lecturer, and he was Black, he was African, and he told me to be very strong, especially when you are Black. And he said, I don't know how you do it. You're a mom. And then I find out that you are a single mom and a Muslim. And, so you have all of these ingredients that nobody would like to hear. However, he said, please note that you need to have thick skin. He used to say crocodile skin. And you have to work 10 times harder than anybody else that you will ever meet. That helped me a lot. So after 4 years of nightless sleep and struggle, you finish your PhD, you submit your thesis, you pass your Fiverr. Now what? To me, the most rewarding time during my PhD was the day I was graduating. I had all of my family. I had my friends. Although my mom wasn't there physically at that day, she was with me spiritually. I felt her. And it was a day that I was so grateful to everyone, to my friends, my family, my supervisors, everybody who supported me. It was obviously a long journey, but it was rewarding in the same time. And the feelings I had that day, I was very emotional. I had to stand up there and listen my name to be read, and all the achievements that I accomplished. I was awarded the best student of the year for entrepreneurship. I also win a couple of awards doing charitable work. So that was a day of gratitude. And I'm so grateful that I did that and had that experience and that knowledge as well. So despite all the struggle, the journey of a PhD teaches you a resilience, critical thinking, and discipline. And when you finished defending your thesis and you are holding that degree, that feeling is priceless. PhD warriors, what is the hardest part of doing a PhD? Drop a comment and let us suffer. No, I mean, let us support each other.